I'd actually love that. Thank you.
Thank you all for being here. We'll call to order the Stevensville Town Council meeting agenda for Thursday, July 25th, 2024 at 6:30 p.m. Janelle, would you please take the roll call?
Councilor Barker. Here. Councilor Brown. Here. Councilor Nelson.
Here.
Councilor Smith.
Here.
And Mayor Robinson.
Here. Would you all please stand for the pledge of allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We'll move on to item number 3, public comments. Public comments from citizens on items not on the agenda tonight. Not on the agenda. Mr. Sean Doyle.
John Doyle, Stevensville Civic Club. I guess it's kind of a little backwards, so I apologize. The Premier Picnic is next week. I haven't had to come to the town council for anything recently, so I figured I'd just pop over and open myself up for any questions, concerns, anything like that may come from the council. Had a meeting yesterday with various department heads, mayor, administration, but didn't know if the 4 of you might have any concerns or questions that need to be addressed before next week.
Have we seen an agenda type of what you have going on?
The events list,
Events list, yes.
it's on our website. It's going to be posted on Facebook here very shortly, and it's also going to be in Wednesday's paper. There was a high-level list of events that went into the Bitterroot Star and their special insert last week, with just some of the major events at times, but all the events will be listed on our website by this weekend, and the Bitterroot Star on Wednesday for everybody. Anything else? Okay. Cool. Thank
Thank
you.
you, John. Moving on to item number 4, approval of minutes. Town council meeting minutes for 7/11/2024. Can I get a motion, please? Councilmember Barker.
I make a motion to approve town council meeting minutes from 7/11/2024.
We have a motion by Councilmember Barker. Do we have a second? We have a second by Councilmember Nelson. Do we have a discussion on the council from the minutes? Councilmember Smith.
On item E on the police department, I had noticed in reading through here that Chief Bowe had said down at the, responding to one of my questions on the 4th, did you have any calls for the big explosions that were rather large? And he said he didn't have. What he further said is that they did a good job, and I think it was because of our patrolling, and that's absolutely true. And then it says here, not on my street, according to what I said, and that's sorry, but that's not what I said or my intent. What I was said is that there was big loud noises about the size of a quarter stick. And I was referring to that on the street, but I wanted fully understood that Chief, you and the police department did an excellent job. And at 12 o'clock, it shut down, and that was a wonderful thing. But this just looked like that my intent was different, and not so. Just like to see that corrected.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Any other comments from the council on the minutes? Any comments from the public on the minutes? Seeing none, Janelle, would you take the vote?
Councilor Barker. Aye. Councilor Brown. Aye. Councilor Nelson.
Aye.
And Councilor Smith.
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0. Thank you. We'll move on to the approval of the bi-weekly claims. You'll see down here that the claims are also for the repair of the air conditioning unit and for the full cover. So if you would like to add these to the claims.
Did we have can't do that yet. Sorry.
If we could make a motion, Councilmember Brown.
I move that we approve claim numbers 19002 through claim number 19118.
We have a motion by Councilmember Brown. Do we have a second? Councilmember Barker.
Second motion?
We have a motion. Do we have a second? Do we have a discussion on the claims from the council? Councilmember Barker.
Claim number 19110, Board for Commission. I was kind of curious what that was. I know it's something we probably do every day or whatever. But just kind of curious what that was.
It's the water that they're delivering to the cemetery. So it's the water rates that we send.
So when it says 36 water users, what do you,
So that's just what the bill says on there, so I just kind of reiterate what the bill says. So they're delivering 36, they delivered 36 shares,
okay.
35,505.
Okay.
So, yeah, it's for the cemetery.
Just so you know, we're gonna put in the budget, Brad Coleman has offered to sell us his shares. Most of them, I have to do with the water rights out of his ditch. How much was it, Janelle, $100 a share? Yeah. So, I think we should put that in the budget, and I think that would be a great deal for us.
How many shares?
40.
40.
Be like 4,000.
I also wanted to let you guys know on the spectrum of products. So that claim is the one of the ones that I just added. That money is not coming out of town hall. That money, $2,471 was donated by the car show for the pool cover. And then Leslie Tadwick and her group donated the difference. So this money, I have to write the check because we deposited the car show money. So that's what the 2471 is for, and then Leslie Tadwick's group threw in the difference of $3,659. The total bill for the pool covers at the pool were $6,150.
Okay.
It was a lot.
Councilmember Smith.
Did we have 2 or more bids on those, on that pool cover?
It was a donation, so
That was donated?
it was donated.
It's donated money.
But Spectrum Aquatics said they were going to donate money for the pool back down here. So I thought that was really nice.
Okay, I'll turn this up some more.
For the what? Did you say the?
Pool back. A pool vacuum? Mm-hmm.
This Spectrum Aquatics out of Missoula.
Yes.
Any other questions on the council from the claims? Any questions from the public on the claims? Seeing none, Janelle, would you take the vote?
Councilor Barker?
Aye.
Councilor Brown? Aye. Councilor Nelson?
Aye.
And Councilor Smith?
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0. Thank you. Yes, we have Montana Department of Transportation here. Anybody from Montana Department of Transportation? They didn't show?
They may be late, remember?
Oh, they may be late, right? So if they come in
They had to
here
come from-
between now and,
They had to come from Alberton.
okay, we'll move on to public hearings. First reading, proposed ordinance number 171, an ordinance amending town code section 1435 and repealing town code section 1436 regarding noxious weeds. Anybody want to get up in the public and speak about the noxious weeds ordinance? None? All right, we'll move on to new business. Item A, discussion decision. Ordinance number 171, an ordinance amending town code section 1435 and repealing town code section 1436 regarding noxious weeds, first reading. Did I get a motion from the council? But you want to explain it first. Okay, I can explain it. So this came about, I sent a ticket, actually, I was going to cite Burn Fork Estates, the Jessups, because of the noxious weed situation out there along Creekside. All right, and then I had John serve as a citation to Frank Borowski over here over his noxious weeds on the Third Park. Well, Fred Simpson, who is our attorney for MMIA, who represents us in the Burn Fork Estates, started doing some legwork, and he sent an email to Greg and I saying, your town ordinance of noxious weeds on citing on a misdemeanor can't do that, because it's not supported under MCA law. Even though it goes back to 1973, there is no reference under the Montana Code of Non-Dealing, so. Both attorneys basically told us we have to take that out of our ordinance, so that's what we're doing here. And the only way you can go out there on the noxious weeds is if we send them a letter, registered letter, saying that clean up your noxious weeds. If you don't, then we'll do it, and then we'll go after you on the taxes, like we're gonna do on the abatement. So,
Understood.
so with that, could I get a motion?
I'm looking for the wording here. So we're repealing ordinance ones.
Yes.
All right, I'll make the motion.
Councilmember Smith.
All right, I move that we repeal ordinance number 171 and ordinance amending town code section 14 through 35 and repealing town code section 14 through 36 regarding noxious weeds.
Thank you. Do we have a motion? Do we have a second? Councilmember Nelson.
Second that.
We have a motion. We have a second by Councilmember Nelson. Do we have a discussion from the council? On repealing. Councilmember Barker.
So the wording that we have here now has gone in front of our attorney and MIA, and everything is good to go with it.
They're the ones that told us we have to take this off because town ordinance says that we can give a violator of noxious weeds a ticket, which is a misdemeanor. But it's not under state law anywhere. So they suggested we take that out, and it's not supported under MCA code. Okay.
So here we go back again to the fact that it's at the cost of the person for the removal, and it comes back to the town, for the town to have to remove those weeds if it's not done.
Yep.
Again, manpower has been an issue. So how are we gonna actually proceed with this? I mean, obviously, once we send that letter out, we have to make sure that we're on top of it. Are we gonna have the power to do it to where it's not going into our overtime hours and everything else to do it?
When things slow down, I've already talked to Public Works Director Lassiter. I've talked to Will about using his lawnmower at the airport, come down to help get the noxious weeds down. So we do have a plan going forward. Go ahead.
Councilmember Smith made a motion to repeal ordinance number 171. So we need to correct that, please.
Yes.
We're not repealing ordinance 171.
Rescind it.
Rescinded.
We're not rescinding any ordinance. This is a brand new ordinance.
Oh, this is a brand new one.
Right.
Oh, okay.
So your ordinance is
Okay,
number
then.
171, you're amending, and then you're repealing a section of town code within that. So if we can restate that so that it's right, that'd be great. Thank you.
Okay. Then we are adopting and repealing, correct? No.
Just read it exactly how it's stated.
Okay,
on
then
the
I move
decision.
that we, ordinance number 171 and ordinance amending town code section 14 through 35 and repealing town code 14 through 36 regarding noxious weeds. This being the first reading.
We have a second.
A second.
Okay, we have a motion, we have a second. Do we have any further comment from the council? Comment from the public on the noxious weed ordinance? Seeing none, Janelle, would you take the motion?
Councilmember Brown?
Aye.
Councilmember Nelson?
Aye.
Councilmember Barker?
Aye.
And Councilmember Smith?
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0. Thank you. This will come up at the next council meeting. The second. So if it is all right with council, could I suspend council rules and could we have the guys from the Montana Department of Transportation get up and give their, before we move on to item B? Okay, thank you. Good evening.
Good evening. Sorry for being late, I guess. I thought we were supposed to be here at 7. I thought I was 10 minutes early, not 15 minutes late. Thanks for having us. Quick introduction, my name is Bob Hosen. I am the district administrator for Western Montana District 1, which encompasses the 9 westernmost counties in Montana. Have an office in Kalispell and an office in Missoula. I've brought with me Joel Boucher as our pre-construction engineer that covers the same area and shares the same district with me, has the same office situation. We both split our time between Kalispell and Missoula. So again, thank you for having us this evening. I don't have a formal presentation. Mainly here to have just some interaction, answer some questions, provide some updates. We at MDT have a fairly large staff within the district. I think we're like most people I know though, and we're struggling with retention and hiring. It's an ongoing battle. Snowplow, if anybody knows anybody that has a CDL, I'll love to get some contact information because we're continuing to struggle to hire snowplow drivers in the winter, and we're struggling to retain engineers during the summer. So it's a real battle for us. I kind of entertain direction, which direction you want to go. If you want me to provide an update, we don't have a lot of construction going on right in the Stevensville area at the moment. We've got some stuff planned in the future in the area. And then obviously we're going to be back in town next week to talk about a little more long range project coming up. I do know that there was a couple questions that were provided to us about some traffic right in town. And I'm going to actually, Joel met with our part of the discussion that we had was a traffic engineer. We had many of you may have worked with Glenn, our previous traffic engineer. He was with MDT for 25, 28 years, something like that. He's had a long career with MDT, and he retired about 6 months ago now, I think. Okay, so yeah, time flies when you're having fun, I guess. But one thing that we are struggling with is the lock. When you have a 20-year employee and that 20+ year employee in that type of a role, there's a lot of institutional knowledge that walks out the door. And our whole traffic section in Helen also has had some struggles with loss of institutional knowledge, and a lot of people, as we have retirements, we do a lot of promotion from within, but so there's still learning curves as people move across districts, across the area. So our new traffic engineer, Aldo, is an amazing engineer. We're blessed to have him. And I know Joel and Aldo were trying to get caught up. The one thing that happened with the transition, we struggled to get that position filled for a while, so we weren't able to have overlap between when Glenn left and when Aldo came in. So we've got some gaps there that we're trying to piece together. So with that, I'll let Joel give kind of the update on where those topics are.
All right, yep, it looks like there's 2 questions. If I'm right, it was a question about a stop sign on 3rd Avenue and Main Street. And there's a question about a speed study from, now I don't remember the 2 roads that it was from, but it's basically downtown, it's a speed study that we were asking about.
South Avenue to the Mormon Church.
Okay, yeah, so that area of town. So what we have is we actually have a nominated speed study from just before the river, right up here on the north end, that goes all the way through town, that will encompass that area. Unfortunately, there are quite a few speed studies in our queue. So it's basically just in line with all the speed studies, and what they do is they really wait for the summer months to get those out. So they have a very short window to get the work done, get the speed study done. And typically they work on them in the fall. So I don't believe they've done any data collection yet on that speed study. So it's basically in the works. It's basically, like I said, in the queue. So when they get to that, they'll get the information out and get it to us, and then we'll review it and then send it out to you guys to review, and the commissioners everybody to review that information. Once that's done, then it'll be presented to the commission, the transportation commission. So it's still a process, but it is in the works. So we are on that one. There is the option, if you want to expedite that and speed that process up, you guys can hire a consultant. There's a handful of consultants that are pre-approved to do speed studies, that you guys can do all the work and do the speed study and then provide the rest to check it essentially. If you want that, I can get more information on kind of how to do that. That'd be something that would be funded by you guys locally. So I don't know if that's something that's in your budget that you want to look at, or if you just want to wait for the process and to get that worked out moving forward. The other thing is, the stop sign would be inside of that, the speed limits. But right now, looking at that from a preliminary look, it looks like those intersections, there's a stop sign currently on Second, I believe it's Second, Third. There's a stop sign on the next block. And with only 500 feet between those two, it's really what you're doing is you're creating congestion with that short of a distance between the two. So a lot of time what that leads to is driver frustration, and it actually doesn't mitigate the issue that we're trying to mitigate. So it's something that we would recommend not moving that direction just because of the proximity of the stop sign. Something that might be warranted is looking into the intersection of East Side Highway. So then you have a little bit more distance, and I don't know if the signalization or something would be worth looking into there. But once again, that would be, you have to look at it, evaluate it. That should be looked at a little bit with the speed study. And then further down the road, we'd have to find some type of funding mechanism, which we wouldn't have anything identified right now for that. But that would have to be something that we looked at in the back. So that's kind of where we're at with that stop sign. But the one on Third, I don't think it's going to get the results that everybody's looking for.
So third or second?
Second.
You mean second?
Second,
Yeah,
sorry.
second.
I keep getting them flip flop back and forth.
Third has a four-way stop.
Yes, there is a four-way stop.
So,
And because of that, you don't want to create a parking lot out there is really what you're running into.
Well, that's what it is, but it's
Yeah.
on Second, and it's parking lot.
so can you talk about the history that Joel and I have been in the district for not as long as what Glenn was, a part of the institutional knowledge that left, but it appears from notes that in the past, there was a stop signs at Second that were removed because it was causing the problems that Aldo says would happen if we put it back in.
And I know we have more traffic and more congestion, but I think what that does is just make that issue larger as opposed to making it better. So it would just make the two stop signs more problematic as opposed to better.
So we have an issue out here on, East Side Highway here,
Okay.
coming on Main Street. That's really bad too.
The same thing there.
Same thing.
And that would, based off of what Aldo said, just chatting with them today, and like I said, without studying and looking at the data, looking at the information, so that would probably be geared more towards some type of signalization as opposed to just a stop sign, just because of the nature of that intersection. So that's, I don't know will that be included in the speed study? Will they look at that intersection? Is that?
We can, let me reach out to our traffic folks and see if they can try to gather the data while they're here to look at that intersection. Again, one of our big challenges, the discussion that Joel and I were having as we drove down here is the funding challenge and what it looks like. And right now, we're struggling with a tremendous shortfall, especially in our bridge program. So we have a meeting next week where we're going to discuss how we're going to get more money to bridges to help with the challenge we have statewide with our bridges that, I mean, just last week, I don't know if anybody heard the bridge into Knoxon was closed. Seems like every week I'm finding out about another bridge we've got to either put severe load restrictions on or close. And it's statewide. We've got the tremendous shortage. So we're going to be looking at actually, is there a way to maybe take money from our standard highway funding and move it to more bridge funding? So funding is a huge challenge. The most recent federal funding bill, the IIJA bill, brought an influx of cash, about a 20% increase is what we saw over our previous funding bill. But we're also dealing with about a 20 to 25% inflationary rate. So we're kind of holding it. It brought additional money, thankfully, to let us kind of keep status quo, but it didn't solve problems. It's not like we have a tremendous amount of money to tackle other projects. So in our district, our projects that we have already, projects that were nominated or were committed to, I believe we have about a 27-year delivery plan right now. So the projects in front of us, the last one is 27 years out based on our current funding. So that
Assuming no new work.
yeah, so that's just the reality of where we are. So, it's every year we get together and we shuffle projects and we're changing priorities. Safety is our top priority. Another large priority for us is how do we maintain what we have? We know we can't afford to go buy a new car, but we need to do everything we can to keep rotating tires and changing oil on what we have. And we're actually struggling with that in a lot of ways. So happy to take a look at the signal. I just don't want to set any false expectations that when you leave here, old Bob said they're going to go look at a signal. Hopefully next year we have it, because that's just not reality. Just some tremendous challenges. We'll definitely take a look at it. If it meets our warrants, take a look at crash trends. If we have crash trends, that plays a part into it as well. But the budget's a real deal, as I know everybody here can appreciate.
This study really needs to be done because if you're coming back from work and you're coming through town, it's a mess. It's from the four-way stop all the way back to Senex with the people trying to turn to go up east side there and people coming through. It's a mess. And that's every evening, every night. And then with your project on east side from about Stevensville Airport Road to Florence, widening that, you're going to be bottlenecking people once again out there by the Stevensville Airport Road. And then it's going to be the same old highway from there into town with no sign, no signal light at the Forest Service in town. And Main Street is still going to be backed up because of the four-way stop. And maybe Chief Bo can have some more.
Yeah, and so as it relates to that speed study on Main Street, I don't know if you know what our end result is, but we're looking to kind of slow traffic coming northbound from Millbrook Court Road, because it's 55, 45, 35, 25, and about a half a mile, about 3/4 of a mile. So about there at the Mormon Church, all the way up to South Avenue, just prior to hitting the S curve, it's 35 miles an hour. And so when you go into that S curve, you're actually traveling a little quicker than 35, and then it's 25 right at the S curve going into town. So we're trying to slow vehicular traffic.
Basically push that speed limit south.
Exactly. Okay, that's, and basically we need to get a couple 25-mile-an-hour signs. That wouldn't be too much.
Well, so the speed limits in Montana, the challenge with speed limits is the Department of Transportation does not set speed limits. By state law, speed limits are set by the Transportation Commission, which is a body of 5 members appointed by the governor that are directly involved in what MDT does, but they're not part of MDT. I have no authority. Well, we go through the speed study process, recommendations are made. There'll be public comment, there'll be a chance for you to submit comments, the city council can submit comments. That all goes to the Transportation Commission. They review the engineering side of it, they review the public comment side of it, they review, your law enforcement side, enforcement side of it, and they make a decision, and then they send basically a letter to me that says what they want the signs changed to. So, and your local, we have, each district has a transportation commissioner. Cody Schwartz is the commissioner for District 1. His contact information is on MDT's website. So, you can feel free to reach out to Cody and let him know what the desires are. I would say wait until we get the study done to see what it is. So you can say, hey, Cody, I support it. Or this is why it doesn't make sense and why it's not right. And then he'll take that information back to the committee and the commission, and they'll vote on it and make a decision on how that will play out. So.
And they'll look at the transitions and they'll look at all of that.
And the commission, I'll tell you what, in the last several years, speed studies have really become a very hot topic, a heavy item. Communities across the state are asking for speed studies more and more and more. And there's truly a science to how a speed study is done and how speed limits are set. And I think this one in my mind makes sense, is getting the speed down to the right place. Some places in more rural settings they're more challenging. This one in an urban setting, it makes a lot of sense, but it's not I wish it was as simple as just going and putting up speed limit signs, but it really isn't, so.
The other problem we have is on the S curves. There's parking along the S curves. People are throwing their doors open. It's going into the driving lane. And you have 2 lanes there. Somebody throws up their door. It's only going to be a matter of time before somebody gets clipped in that S curves.
So I guess I understand the concern. What is the ask?
We need to.
No parking.
That is not our authority. That's, again, we can't pass. I have places on the highway that I don't want people parking at 70-mile-an-hour roads. I can't post them unless there's an ordinance passed by the local governing body.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
So we have the authority.
that's your authority, not ours.
Okay, well, we didn't know that.
So we have tractor trailers, for example, that traverse through Main Street, and when they hit the S-curve, we just recently, or not long ago, were in an accident where a tractor trailer took out a couple cars in that little section right there to the right side of the lane.
Yeah, I mean, so sounds like a safety concern, but again, MDT, we don't have much authority as far as setting regulations, whether it's speeds or parking. So, for those of you that know all the rafting and stuff that goes on the river around Missoula, we have people parking all over along there. It scares the hell out of me. I have to get county commissioners to enact ordinances. We will help with signing with the county, but if signs are installed, they have to meet our standards. We have some standards that have to be met. But as far as making a no parking ordinance, that is not what we can do.
Thank you for the information.
We'll make that one happen.
So just to be clear, on a state road, we have authority for generating a no parking.
For generating a no parking zone, yes.
Is that through the county commissioners? Or is
Well, in this case, this is a city, it's within city limits. I assume that's still city. I'm not sure where city limits are. I mean, there's a lot of places I think I'm in city limits, and I'm actually in the middle of the county, right in the middle of the town. So all that jurisdiction, you guys figure that one out.
But we're in city limits, and our state highway runs right down through it.
Yep.
Now, if it threw us off, how could we?
Yeah, no, we,
State highway, we didn't know we had that authority.
so, yeah.
But once we pass the ordinance, we still have to take it before you guys to.
After you pass the ordinance, you need to reach out to Aldo and Joel about making sure what the sign, because the signs are gonna have to meet our standards as far as breakaway spacing, size of wording on it and stuff.
Like no parking from such and such to such and such.
Yeah, I'm not the traffic guy.
Right, but I'm
These, some of these changing curb red.
Red curb, I think it's yellow, I think, but I believe, well, let me check. I think you have to reinforce with signage, but I'm not sure.
We'd have to check the traffic.
Again, it's stuff we don't do.
Some things.
One other question, we had a gentleman come to a council meeting, that wanted to put his sign up on Main Street at one of the light posts. Does that sign and everything need to be pre-approved by the state? Thank you.
What is that sign for?
A church.
So, yeah.
They
there-
want to attach it to the light pole in your right of way.
So,
Owned by Northwest Energy.
yeah,
The pole's owned by Northwest Energy, but in your right of way.
so, so a luminaire pole, not a signal pole.
Correct.
Okay, so there's laws about advertising in the right of way, and I'm not sure where churches fall as far as advertising, but advertising in state right of way is not allowed.
Like a directional sign, is that what you?
Yeah, so they look
Yeah.
at such and such church this way, so those signs can be allowed. Again, I don't have all the details on it, but reach out to Joel, and if you get them and get the individual in touch with Joel, we'll leave some business cards here, or actually that one, probably get in touch with Joan. Yeah.
And then I think Mrs. Motley has a question for you.
So-
Behind you.
With the striping of the Highway 93, are you guys gonna stripe through Main Street? Because the stripes are pretty well.
So I'll have to get back to you on that one. The striping on Highway 93 that's going on right now is part of our annual durable pavement marking. It's, and there's again, certain number of dollars. And so they test reflectivity on the paint and they come up with a program. And they're usually looking, 6 months ahead. So I don't know if they're coming through Main Street or on the East Side Highway, or if they're just doing Highway 93. Again, like I say, we have X number of dollars to paint highways, so it's a matter of what, we want to paint as soon as when it's needed, but trying to stretch the dollars as much as what we can too. So I'm not sure. We can get back to you on that one.
How about the handicap on the streets here? Is that ours, or do you guys do that?
The painting or
Painting of the handicap areas where you go park. Handicap sign, the blue.
parking, we don't do parking painting. We do through lines and crosswalks. But as far as parking, we make sure that the ADA ramps are compliant. But as far as parking and the allocation of handicap parking versus non-handicap parking and the spacing of those signs, the painting or the spacing, the size of those parking slots, how you paint them, that's all city.
It's on us.
Yep.
Any other questions from the council to? Public like to weigh into them anymore, Vicki?
The only other thing is, I don't think there's ever been a four-way stop on Second Street. The only four-way stop is on,
And there actually used to be a signal, a light,
there was a blinking
and
unit.
an actual light.
What- It was not a signal.
It was just a blinking.
It was a flashing light, yeah, not a signal.
No, but there was a flasher, but there was no four-way stop on Second Street.
Yeah, we're just going by what we were told, so we don't.
I've lived here a long time.
Okay, if there are no other questions, you guys have any questions for us?
I don't think so.
Real quick,
Go ahead.
what dates are you guys, there's going to be talks about the upcoming projects and that? And where are you going to be with those?
So we've got open houses scheduled.
Tuesday.
Next Tuesday, and all the meetings are at the high school. The first one is from 8 to 2 next Tuesday. And then 2 weeks later on Wednesday from noon to 6. And then 2 weeks later on Thursday from 2 to 8.
So August 14th is that first Wednesday, and then you said 2 weeks after that?
2 weeks after that on Thursday.
Yeah, but these ones, that would be.
That's them right there.
Okay, there you go. July 30th, 8 to 2, August 14th, 12 to 6, August 29th, 2 to 8. There it is. All at Stevensville High in the library. Sorry, it's on Facebook, sorry.
I knew that, I
Well,
spaced them
I
2
know
weeks
it's
out of
on-
the day.
I've seen it on Facebook, but we have a lot of people that
No,
don't
no,
do
understand.
Facebook, so.
I had to look, too, I had
And that's on the roundabout.
Yes.
Okay, if we have no further questions, I want to thank you two for coming and.
You bet.
Yes, we'll be in
Thanks
touch.
for having
Yeah, and we'll get some answers back to you. I'll have Joan get responses out just as quick as we can back to you.
Okay, thank you.
All right, great. Thank you guys very much. And again, sorry.
Yeah, no problem.
Not a problem.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Safe travels back.
Hey, thank you, appreciate it.
Okay, we'll move on to item number B, discussion decision, consent to the mayor's appointment of Eric Wilson as a volunteer firefighter and EMS medical volunteer for the town of Stevensville Fire Department. Councilmember,
I move that we consent to mayor's appointment of Eric Wilson as volunteer firefighter and EMS medical volunteer for the town of Stevensville Fire Department.
we have a motion by Councilmember Smith, do we have a second? Councilmember, we have a motion, we have a second by Councilmember Nelson, we have a discussion from the council. Jeff?
So Eric is one of our former cadets, came up for a cadet program. He did a residency with Missoula Rural. While he was with us, he got his EMTB license as a graduating student out of high school. He now works for Community Medical Center as an ER technician, and he's back in the area and wants to rejoin the department, and we'd love to have him back in our ranks. And this is Eric, very close.
This is Eric.
Thank you. Any other comments from the public? Seeing none, Janelle, would you take the vote?
Councilmember Brown? Aye. Councilmember Barker?
Aye.
Councilmember Nelson?
Aye.
And Councilmember Smith?
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0. Thank you all. Move on to
Thank you, welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, welcome. Moving on to item number C, discussion decision, consent to mayor's appointment of Abby Motley as a volunteer EMS support person for the town of Stevensville Fire Department. With that, could I entertain a motion, please? Councilmember Gordon.
I make a motion for the consent of mayor's appointment of Abby Motley as a volunteer EMS support person for the town of Stevensville Fire Department.
We have a motion by Councilmember Barker. Do we have a second? Councilmember Smith is the second. We have a motion, we have a second. Do we have a discussion from the council? Any discussion? Jeff?
So it's kind of a family thing, evidently. I mean, she's grown up around fire department all over her life. And her future desire is to become an EMT and to go down that path and volunteer her services in that aspect. She's already doing the support role of waters and sandwiches and all that stuff and has been for a number of years. The way the organization would work is that she comes on, her direct line of command or chain would be back through the company officers, through the assistant chief, and then after all those different steps, then I would become a supervisor to her. Because there are several layers below me, so it's not a direct family supervision type of a situation at all. But anyway, this is Abby, I'm the general department.
Okay. No more comments from the public? None from the council? Janelle, would you take the vote, please?
Councilmember Smith?
Aye.
Councilmember Barker?
Aye.
Councilmember Nelson?
Aye.
And Councilmember Brown? Aye.
Motion passes 4-0.
Thank you, Abby.
Thank
you,
you. Thank you, Abby.
I'm gonna go training.
Okay. Okay, we'll move on to item number D, discussion decision. Town council to set a date and time for a committee of the whole meeting, for the planning and zoning charges and fees. So this has been on the burner for about 3 years now. Mayor Gibson came to a planning and zoning meeting and he wanted to raise it. Steve Cruz, I think, dug into some stuff and found some stuff with Polson and other towns. And we found out that we're way, way undercharging everybody. I mean, Hamilton's like over double what we're paying. And I know they're a bigger town, but we need to sit down, and Cindy knows that too. We need to go through all these fine tooth comb, and we need to get them back up to where these developers have to pay their fair share. So with that, could I get a motion, set a time? Councilmember Brown.
I move that we set a date and time for a town meeting to discuss planning and zoning charges and fees.
We have a motion, we have a second. Councilmember Nelson.
I second that.
We have a motion, we have a second. Council discussion. Set a date. Councilmember Walker.
I know we're just setting a date for this, but have we outreached to the planning and zoning committees to let them know that this is going to take place as well?
Not yet, but do you think we should run it through planning and zoning and then do us?
I really do, that way they're aware too. I mean, I don't even know what
They could come
the
with me.
fees are or anything like that, and I think it's very viable that we do have them with us when we do this, or
Okay,
not just the council, but as a
We'll have
whole.
them work out the fees.
so would you like to take this, refer this back to planning and zoning, they could work it out and then instead of a town meeting?
Well, if we can outreach and see if we can combine it together, but I really think that they need to be involved with it instead of us making that decision and then, you know, I think it needs to be as a whole.
Okay. So we want to set a date still then?
Yeah, we can
And then we
consider
can,
it together.
and then we can get together with Jim and we can. So,
Yeah.
It's your meeting, so sometime in August. I mean, it doesn't have to be a hurry. You know, August is pretty full, the first part of it. We have a budget meeting on the 7th, workshop. So,
Special meeting on August 6th, we have a budget meeting on August 7th, we have a town council meeting on August 8th.
So why don't we go for the next council, before the next council meeting, like on a Tuesday, can we like do it on a Tuesday? And that way we can bring those referrals to the next council meeting.
So 13th?
Yeah, if that works.
Tuesday the
13th at
Tuesday the 13th.
Tuesday the 13th for a town meeting? What time?
And obviously to get everybody here, I would think 6:30 would be, or 6.
6. Good, we have. So that will be. Okay, Tuesday the 13th at 6 o'clock. Does that work for you?
Yes.
Okay. Any comments from the public on the Cal meeting, Tuesday, 13th at 6 o'clock? Any more comments from the council?
Can we make sure that we have a scheduling of what the old fees are?
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Thank you.
We'll have the subject go on.
That way we don't miss the meeting.
Seeing none, to know to take the vote.
Councilor Berger,
Aye.
Councilor Brown, Councilor Nelson,
Aye.
and Councilor Smith.
Motion passes 4-0. Thank you. Moving on to item number E. Approval of an RFQ architectural engineering services for the Stevensville Airport Development Project. So according to Will, right, Will, we don't have town doesn't have a contract for an engineering firm. We've been using Morrison and Marley, but that contract expired. So to be fair and under our ordinances, we should put out a, go ahead, Will, come on.
So there's actually two contracts, the way they do this, they're split. There's one contract for the engineers for planning and one for engineering. Morrison and Maryland had both of them, but they're staggered.
We still have 2 years left on our planning contract, but we don't have their engineering contract. So doing the RFQ, we put that out. Other engineers, they submit their information just like an RFP, and then we go through it. We're just basically looking for qualified engineers that can work with the FAA to continue the projects. That's really all it is. I don't know why they split it up into 2 contracts, but it's just kind of part of the process.
Who are some of the other companies that are out there, do we know?
Morrison Airways, the biggest one that does FAA stuff in the area. I know there's a couple others. I don't really know them per se. Know of them.
Any other questions from the council? Any questions from the public on the architectural contract for the airport? Seeing none?
I think we need to take,
Oh, we have a motion?
We need a motion.
Need a motion. Okay. We have a motion. Councilmember Barker.
I make a motion for approval of RFQ, Architectural Engineer Services for Stevensville Airport Development Projects.
We have a motion, do we have a second? A second, yes. We have a motion, we have a second. Do we have any further discussion from the council? Need it. Any discussion from the public? Seeing none, Janelle, would you take the vote?
Councilor Smith?
Aye.
Councilor Nelson?
Aye.
Councilor Barker?
Aye.
Councilor Brown?
I,
Motion passes 4-0. Thank you. Moving on to item number F, discussion decision, resolution number 457C, a resolution of the town of Stevensville, town council, amending the water and sewer billing policy. So if you look at that, you'll see that we're basically just doing some cleanup on it. Andrina went through it with Janelle, and you'll see the highlighted areas that are in yellow. That's the one we're proposing to change, like item number 5, water and sewer accounts, all accounts, instead of shall be carried. Andrina wanted to, should have a record of, that's more in line. Item number 7, we took that completely out because we don't want to do that. And we moved down to item number 8, highlighted areas, instead of may only be, we said are placed in the property owner's name, and the bill may go to the resident of property owner's consent. There's issues there. And then down below there, we took out that section, the application shall be in such forms or may shall be prescribed by the town. We took that, the property owner and resident information is entered into the town's utility billing system and the Black Mountain software system. So we have a better record of it. And you go down to the number 9, the billing cycle. As you know, we're doing email now, so we put that in there, or email, and down here, total account balance, delinquent accounts, disconnected 60 days shall be collected as authorized by municipal code 713-4309. That wasn't in there. Instead turned over for collection. Go down, number 12, payments. Debit or credit card payments are accepted over the phone or on the town's website, www.townofstevensville.com. That was another change that we just made. So we added that. And instead of sign, we put agreed payment plan. The customer shall be subject to disconnection of service, and a final notice will be posted to the door with a shut-off gate. And we've been doing quite a bit of that lately, so that's working well. That's a change that we did. The town of Stevensville reserves the right to no longer accept personal checks at any time. We add a return check charge of $40 per return, because we've never charged anybody for late returns. Every other business does, so why shouldn't we? We should hold them accountable too. So that's the proposed changes that we have in our billing as far as the water. With that, can I get it? Motion? Councilmember Smith.
I move that we adopt resolution number 457C, a resolution of the town of Stevensville, town council amending water and sewer billing policies.
We have a motion by Councilmember Smith. Do we have a second? Councilmember Parker.
Second the motion.
We have a motion, we have a second by Councilmember Parker. Do we have any discussion from the council?
Good to clean it up.
Any
Well,
discussion?
I think,
Correct.
I think it also takes that liability and puts it where it needs to be put for the property owners. Obviously, we've had some issues in the past, not knowing whose responsibility is, and now we've got that line drawn up, so.
Has to be
And it's not,
reported.
it's not the gray area.
Right here. Correct. Any other comments from the council? Any comments from the public? Vicky?
On line number 5, the water and sewer accounts, it says all accounts, and you're putting should have record. Shouldn't that be a must-have record of the owner? Otherwise, I mean,
That makes sense.
are you gonna run into the same thing that ran into last time? I mean, to me, the city needs to know who owns the property.
Right.
So to me, that should be a must, and it's not just a should. Well, yeah, you should, but, I mean,
Okay,
Yes.
change that. Change that to may.
Must.
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 Okay. Number 5 is changed to must.
Thank you, Vic.
Any other comments from the public? Thank you, Victor.
Yep.
Seeing none, Janelle, would you take the roll?
Councilmember Nelson,
Aye.
Councilmember Barker,
Aye.
Councilmember Smith.
Aye.
And Councilmember Brown.
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0. Thank you. Item number G, resolution 545, a resolution adopting a fee schedule and charges for airport fees of the town of Stevensville. So, Will brought this up, and I don't think the airport board wanted any changes,
They didn't recommend any.
so we just put basically to do a resolution like we did all the others, to clean it up. With that, could I entertain a motion? Councilmember Nelson.
I make a motion to adopt resolution number 545, resolution adopting a fee schedule and charges for airport fees by the town of Stevensville.
We have a motion by Councilmember Nelson. Do we have a second? Councilmember Parker.
I'll second the motion.
We have a motion. We have a second by Councilmember Parker. Do we have a discussion from the council? Councilmember Parker.
So these fees are really not changing then,
Not for this. It's,
but they'll make it easier to be changed.
right, because it's a self-resolution now, just like the others were done.
Okay.
I've encouraged them at the last board meeting, they didn't have any changes.
Are we pretty much with these fees in line with other small airports and stuff?
For the most part, there are some things on there, there were a couple of board members, that were reaching out to these different airports. I've gotten a couple of things back, but nothing formal. They have their own suggestions on what they should be doing up there, but just not getting anywhere. So,
Yes, Will, is there been any thoughts about collecting landing fees, or is this just on the owner system?
So it is a posted fee, but there's absolutely no way to track it. Unless we have, if we had a full-time FBO, I know you hate acronyms, but it's what it is. And you had someone staff there like Hamilton that could keep track of that. Just like our rent fees, people come in, they land, they're here for a weekend, they leave. Unless you can catch them at the airport, you don't have any way to collect it because it's on the owner system.
How about a game camera?
Then you get a tail number, and you have to look up the aircraft, and then you have to send them a bill, and I'm having a hard time doing that with the planes that are parked for years. We haven't been getting for anything, which is why I suggested giving them parking tickets. Serving them, they don't come to court to pay the parking. But I can only do so much.
Have them towed.
Yeah.
Say Buddha.
San Guido and
Most of them have booted themselves because they filled tires.
so basically they've abandoned those aircrafts.
Yes.
So why can't we get rid of those aircrafts?
It is not an easy process because aircraft are not titled like a vehicle. It's a federal registration, just a state registration, just a sticker that goes on it. So it's a lot, it's a different process than you could for like an abandoned vehicle, trying to get the title that way. And some of those things, the amount of legal fees we would spend trying to do that, we would never recoup it in sale.
So basically they know that. Dirty dogs.
Any other comments from the council? Any comments from the public? Seeing none, Janelle, would you take the vote, please?
Councilmember Brown? Aye. Councilmember Smith?
Aye.
Councilmember Barker? Aye. And Councilmember Nelson?
Aye. Motion passes 4-0. Thank you. Moving on to item number 8, discussion decision, resolution number 546, resolution adopting a fee schedule and charges for building, electrical, mechanical, building fees by the town of Stevensville. And like, again, this is, didn't make no changes, but we wanted to put it into resolution, and Janelle copied and pasted what she did.
I missed the bottom of
She
the
missed the
page.
very bottom of one page, and thanks,
I'll
Cindy
add
Brown. Thank you, Cindy Brown, for stating that and bringing that up.
Thank you.
So that is there, that's what this little piece of paper was about, that was part of.
Oh, that's what that, okay.
So with that, could I entertain a motion? Councilmember Brown.
I move that we approve resolution number 546, a resolution adopting a fee schedule and charges for building, miscellaneous permit fees, electrical, mechanical, and plumbing fees by the town of Stevensville.
We have a motion by Councilmember Brown, do we have a second? Councilmember Smith, we have a second. Do we have a discussion from the council? We have a discussion from the public? Seeing none, Janelle, would you take the vote, please?
Councilmember Nelson?
Aye.
Councilmember Barker? Aye. Councilmember Smith?
Aye.
And Councilmember Brown? Aye.
Motion passes 4-0. Thank you. Item number I, discussion decision, resolution number 547, a resolution establishing lighting district taxes for the town of Stevensville, Montana, fiscal year 24-25. And as you see, every year we have to get the lighting district to get an estimate, and we send those in. Once it's approved by you guys, it goes into Regina. And everybody's went down except mine.
It was criticized before.
Yeah. But everybody's went down pretty good, significantly, so everybody should be happy. With that, could I get a motion? Councilmember Barker.
I make a motion for approval of resolution 547, a resolution establishing lighting districts taxes for the town of Stevensville, Montana fiscal years 2024 through 2025.
We have a motion by Councilmember Barker, do we have a second?
I second.
Councilmember Nelson, we have a motion, we have a second. We have a discussion from the council on the lighting district taxes. We have a discussion from the public on the lighting district taxes. Yours went up too, John. Yours went up too. We're the same.
Well, two of you have.
Yeah, two. Seeing none, Janelle, will you take the vote?
Councilmember Barker?
Aye.
Councilmember Brown?
Aye.
Councilmember Nelson?
Aye.
And Councilmember Smith?
Aye. Motion passes 4-0. Thank you. Item number J, discussion decision, resolution number 548, a resolution adopting a user fee for bulk water for the town of Stevensville. So when people sign a contract with us, they sign a contract, but we're not charging them anything else, and everybody else charges them. There should, and Dreaming Club, there should be a fee for like service of the hydrant or, upkeep and a yearly fee. But everybody else charges it. We were just charging for the water. What we want to do is we want to actually charge them for coming up, hooking up to the hydrant, getting the water.
And we've got our hydrants where they hook up, we got it metered.
Yeah.
Right now.
They're not metered, they report how many
They
gallons
report on the account.
by the size of their truck or the size of their vessel that they're filling. And they fill in only one spot here in town. they fill in one spot here in town, like coming to town hall and getting a key to unlock that lock off of that particular hydrant. And then that's our way to, those that have paid for bulk water, and they report their numbers to
Well,
us.
that's your way of control,
Correct.
that's what I was going after.
We're proposing a $70 yearly user fee. So with that, could I get a motion? Councilman Ernst.
I make a motion to adopt resolution number 548, a resolution adopting a user fee for bulk water by the town of Stevensville.
We have a motion by Councilmember Nelson. Do we have a second? Councilmember Smith, we have a motion and a second. Do we have a discussion from the council? Councilmember Brown.
It says that $75 for the year. I was thinking a flat $100 for the year.
That's up
Do
to
we
council.
Well, and this is something, obviously, water rates are going up, something to keep into consideration too. And I think if we do the flat rate, it's gonna be easier for the tracking as well for the rules.
So
Do we need?
it's a flat rate of $100 for them to get the right to fill the tank, and then we bill them for the water
Currently,
separate.
currently we're charging $225 for 48,000 gallons. Anything over the 48,000 gallons is $1.85 per thousand.
How many people do we actually have coming in to get, and
Just depends on the year. Currently, we have 2 things that are running, that are working off of their purchased amount. Previous years, I've monitored 5 or 6 different pages before, people coming in to pull from theirs as well.
and
Those,
those,
and that rate will go up, if and when the water rates change as well. So that 225 will be different, for the 48,000 gallons as well.
and then how many people just go ahead and open up the hydrant and take their water?
I don't know. That's a hard one. And another piece that we've always discussed, and they're very expensive, are the locks. And there's a couple of particular hydrants in town that even back when George and Steve Cruz, and those were things that were brought up, because those are hydrants that just get sampled by people, and we don't know that, so.
Will, do you want to add?
Well, hey, knowing what I can do with that, I would do that yearly. And stuff that I can use bulk water where it's easier to fill there out of hydrant than it is to run the well where I live, which is going dry because of the subdivisions around me. But I would just assume that we would probably use it free. We'd probably be setting up another one for something else that we might do next week.
Councilmember Brown.
Do you mind if I ask Will a question? Will, if the flat user fee at 100, would you still be interested?
It's worth it, when you look at what you're getting for the service. And I mean, some people complain they have to pay more and all being out. Really, when you look at it, using that service, and there should be locks on those hydrants. Because right now, I could pull that trailer up, and if nobody was paying attention up there at Twin Creeks, and I could fill it up right away. Nobody would know. That's one of the issues we're dealing with at the airport with dust abatement. Trying to keep track of those. It's on an honor system at that point. So luckily, the fire departments are doing it. But if we were to bring, say an independent contractor showed up for some time, that the Forest Service had hired. Now we have a private individual who's just hooking up to the hydrant because they're unlocked. And then it's disappearing.
And there can be agreements, like we have agreements with, the fire departments, they fill up theirs, there's no charge for them, but we still have to know what those gallons are, because that goes towards our monthly
Research.
usage of how much water is going through our system. And then that, calculates as well. The fire departments report to Colette, rural, and then ours, of course, and so she gets those numbers to Andrea and to Stephen, monthly, if not every couple months at least, depending on when the times and the numbers come in. But we have to be able to account for those. And the user fee, I think, also just reminds people of that importance of, you get this privilege, in a sense, to have the ease of purchasing bulk water, but there's some fees that come around to it as well.
For Janelle, if I could. When you said fire departments, you were referring to Stevensville rural and ours, or are you referring to like Florence or?
That can be anyone. As far as I know, we, 3 Mile will contract and do fills. Like if Florence, if I remember right, if they were to come and help us out with the fire, well, then they would fill before they left,
I see.
things like that. Then they just report the number of gallons back to us.
Just curious, how many gallons constitutes bulk use?
48,000.
48,000.
Oh, so above that?
Oh, I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry. We sell it at a bulk rate at 48,000 gallons for $225. That's a good question, Sean. I don't know if we look at it and say
Certain number.
1,000 gallons is considered bulk or over 3,000 is considered bulk. I don't know. That's a good question.
The reason I ask, and this is my first year experiencing this, so apologies up front because I didn't know about this to begin with, but, some of the events that we have, we end up using quite a bit of water. Creamery Picnic, we've got a water trailer with the heat. If I've got to fill it up twice, it's a 250 gallon trailer. It's going to use 500 gallons of water. Anybody that brings in a dunk tank, such as one national night out last year, I'm trying to get the police personnel in trouble, but that dunk tank holds about 250 gallons of water. When the circus came, they end up using about 1,200 gallons of water. If we bring them back in 2 years and go to 2 days and 4 shows, we'd be looking at somewhere between 2,000 and 2,500 gallons of water. So that's why I was wondering how many gallons constitutes bulk use, because on special events, while there's electricity charges for the power that we use, and Janelle can tell you, I try to make sure we're always fair, regardless of what I asked about earlier this year. Water was something I hadn't thought about until I saw this on the agenda. So, 2 years when we bring the circus back, between that, Creamery, a couple of dunk tanks, we're looking at somewhere between 3,000 and 3,500 gallons of water used just by us.
And Sean, that's a really good point, because a couple of years ago, I'm going to say it must have been in 2022, and someone needed to purchase just 3,000 gallons of water. And so right now, 500 gallons is like $2.34 if you take off of the bulk rate. But that 3,000 gallons, I remember we charged that person our base rate of the O&M on a 3/4 inch line, which was $14.75. So that's a really good question, where we as a town probably need to look and say, so anything over this number of gallons now constitutes a bulk charge? It's a great idea.
Not that I'm trying to lose money, but I just try to make sure we're fair.
No, it clarifies it up then, and we know what you're paying for a certain amount of gallons.
Civic Club can just buy their 48,000 gallons now, and then you just
Keep
use
running
on it for
tally?
the next,
I'm not gonna be doing this that long.
Oh, Sean.
Yeah, that's what they all say.
Small.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
You look at most of what your smallest water tender, for roads, fire service, like 15 gallons.
Don't you get a deal?
27 to 3,000 gallons, 2,700 to 3,000 gallons is bigger than your average. So
And the guys
kind of
that
in
come
that-
through right now that are using the 1,500 gallon tanks on their trucks, or they're doing 2 750s, on the big trailers, they've purchased bulk rate because they're just using so much of it. So for them, that's going to be the cheaper deal. But I think that's a really good idea. You guys to think about that.
Then it stops somebody from coming in and just getting 200 gallons of that bulk rate.
Mhm.
500 gallons of that
Right.
bulk rate you should
Yeah.
pay from it, whether you use it or not. That's the minimum. So it was 1,000 or 1,500.
I'll let Andrina
Yeah.
know that we discussed about this piece, and then she can, we can maybe make some phone calls and see if there are some towns that look at that number as like a cutoff. And then everything after that, you've got to purchase that bulk.
Darby does that as well. Maybe that's somebody where you reach out to Darby's town hall and see what they
Maybe we should
say about all of it.
Well, this has to do with the yearly, with the maintenance, basically. It's basically, okay, it has nothing to do with the amount of water, it's basically.
Nothing to do with that, just.
Have a motion to change the 75 to 100.
Yes, if Cindy wants to change it to 100, then maybe she should make a motion.
I was just throwing that out for a suggestion, but if everybody's happy with 75, if we approve it, we can always go back and increase it again. It's just something to think about.
Okay. Any discussion with the public?
I think it should raise. I think $75 for the proposal, that seems low. I mean, I'm not going out and getting water, but it just seems like I mean, it's nothing.
You want to keep it at 75, and then when we get with Andrina and we get with the clarify the number of gallons to bring up, like Sean said, we can bring this back. Whatever you want. You want to do it that way, or you want to change it to 100 now?
Why don't we table the item? I think it would be best to
Do you
table
want to
until we
table
get those items, everything together
Sure.
with what the possibilities are, have that information available, so we're more.
Well, we just kind of like to get the money now.
That's true.
Please do keep in mind, this resolution is only regards a user fee.
Right,
We
that's what I
want to
said.
look at having a resolution that's letting us know what our cap is, we can have a whole nother
That's what I
resolution
mean. All this is
for
is
that.
for the
This is
usage.
just for that user fee, and that dollar amount can be changed by you guys picking it, I change it here, and him and I sign it, it's that simple, yes. So that can be easily
Keep it as is.
fluctuated.
I think we should just go ahead and move it now.
But if everybody's good with it, I really feel $100 is nothing anymore these days, so that's why I'm thinking 100.
Go ahead and move that. Need a motion?
I move that we increase the fee from 75 to 100 on resolution number.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second to raise? Councilmember, we have a motion, we have a second. Do we have a further discussion from the council? Further discussion from the public? Seeing none, Janelle, would you take the vote?
Councilmember Smith?
Aye.
Councilmember Barker?
Aye.
Councilmember Nelson?
Aye.
And Councilmember Brown?
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0. Thank you. Board reports. Town council comments. Councilmember Brown.
I've been getting quite a few emails, well, not emails, but phone calls about the water rates increase, water and sewer rate increase on August 6th. I keep telling people to please show up at the meeting because the state will be here to explain everything.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other council comments? Okay, executive report. On July 15th, we had a police commission meeting, and afterwards, we swore in police officer Kenneth Franklin. Councilmember Smith was here and attended. On the 18th, we had a Forest Service signed an airport license agreement, giving our airport much needed money. We currently have how many, Will? 4 helicopters up there now?
They're kind of coming in and out as our fires are getting spread out over the valley. Yeah, there's a 14-9, 205, and 2 Blackhawks here. There's 4 sitting up there.
From the looks of it, they'll be here for quite a while. On the 18th, we had a meeting with Ross Miller regarding water rights. Cindy Brown and Greg Overstreet also attended it. That was right in the other office there. A contract will be coming forward with your approval regarding the Reeves property. That should be coming up the next council meeting, I believe.
Cross our fingers for it, yes.
We'll have a budget workshop on August 7th, and if that works for everybody, that's already been posted.
August what?
7.
August 7th, the day after the council meeting, or the water. Okay. We put a bulletin out, we're asking the public and the businesses to please conserve water as all our pumps are now working overtime with all the water usage. So if everybody could conserve water out there, to the best of your ability, we'd appreciate it. Alan Hughes, the Executive Director of NMIA, will be here next Wednesday, the 31st, to go over and do a startup orientation for me. And I will be attending a biannual NMIA conference in Lewistown on August 14th and 17th. All expenses are paid by NMIA. I spent today helping Public Works pick up branches and limbs from last night's storm. We had one incident where a big tree fell down on a Suburban. Our tree is hard, so that's another thing.
Is that the one on church?
Yes. The budgets are tight, we don't have money, and I don't really know where we're gonna come up. There's some trees down there, this storm, the first storm opened up a can of worms, and now with this other wind here, there's a lot of trees that are in disrepair that need to be cut or cut down. And the cost is about $5 to $7 grand a tree. We don't have that money. I'm sorry, we don't. We're trying to start a capital improvement, like maybe $10,000 and put in the budget for trees. That's just 2 trees. And I know 2 trees right now over here on College that need to be cut down. In fact, in front of Nancy Lowell's house, there's a tree that needs to come down. In fact, branches come down last night and went over the fence. So we picked that up today. It's something we have to look at going forward. I mean, we have to find money somewhere or grants. But money's really tight as far as the budget, and to put 20 grand or 10 grand into for just trees, it's gonna be hard to do. But we'll try. We'll put it in there and see if it goes through, we crunch the numbers. But we're gonna have to do something because these storms are gonna get more frequent, our trees are getting older. We've gotta find a way to get them cleaned up.
My house and neighborhood was a disaster.
Right. And we crunched the numbers, and like I say, we have a meeting on August 6th to increase our water and sewer rates. No, nobody's happy about it. It's a significant increase, but it's something that we've kicked the can down the road since 2015. There was a very small increase in 2019, but that was it. The last 3 audits, we were told to raise our water and sewer rates. We didn't do it. That's why we have to pay so much now, because we haven't paid our fair share for years and years and years. We kept dipping into the fund, dipping into our reserves. Now here we are. When I went to the meeting in May to rural water, I thought it was a meeting for everybody. Well, they only invited Stevensville for a reason. Because they sat me down and said, you need to raise your water and sewer rates. You have no choice. And they have to be this significant. And Bobby Schuler, who will be at that meeting from rural, she came in here and crunched the numbers with Gina and Robert. That's the numbers she came up with. She said, you have to raise it this. You can't do it in 5-year, 7-year increments. You'll never catch up. We paid $700,000 for this Mission Street project out of our own pocket to match, out of $1.8 million. That's $700,000 we don't have for the next project. Let's say 3 or 4 years now, we have to do another upgrade down at the sewer plant, which there will be more. Or we have to fix another line. Or we had a sinkhole over here on Charlotte that the guy spent 2.5 days doing. We have an aging infrastructure that we have to take care of. That is our responsibility. And yes, it hurts the town. It hurts these people. Everybody struggles. But we cannot water away at this rate anymore. Otherwise, we won't be a town much longer. They'll call us on our debt. They'll call us on our bonds. Then what do? We become Corvallis and Victor. That's what we do. We can't do that. We cannot do that. So with that, I have a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Now we're gonna need to sign this. So you can have it.
It's okay. Okay.
You don't need the arrow, right?